fantasy basketball questions. Luka is injured. Tyrese Halliburton is terrible. What other questions have you got? Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and maybe the real fantasy basketball is the friends that we made along the way. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshlloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood Gold. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Of course, you can be here right now and ready to double bang. You can only single bang at the moment because the audio is not out, but it will be later. So go ahead and do that. Operation 90K coming up, the annexation of Canada. We are here, we are ready to go, and I am joined, ready to talk about fantasy basketball. So just figure out what's going on with your camera, Kingy. It's all bouncing back and forward. Are you actually there or not? Or is it maybe it's my end? Oh, let's bring him in. The man is here, Adam King. A little bit worse for wear after a big night out on the piss, Kingy?
Oh, if only.
Yeah.
If only I was living a life like that. No, just too old to be running around with kids playing basketball. So it's my own doing. But I'm here and I'm reading through the news as we speak.
So Kingy getting himself caught up on the goings on across the NBA. We've got people in here live, ready to go, ready to chat with us. So we will we might as well just get in and start, getting these questions rolling, Kingy. Who's got a good one first? Let's have a look what we've got here. I'll just bring these questions up. It is a busy day, as you've said. There's been a lot of injury news to catch up on. All right, let's have a look. I want to hear your take on this, Kingy, because we know that you go hard into punting and you drafted a lot of Amen Thompson in leagues. What do you think about Ausar Thompson as he starts to get ready to return? We've got a doubtful tag, which means he's probably got a return coming next week. What are you thinking that we're going to get out of him this season?
Look, it's going to be, I think, a slow ramp to where we expect him to be because he's been out for a while now. So conditioning will be a bit of an issue, not as bad as it is with me, but still an issue. And I think when we get sort of peak Ausar Thompson, best case scenario, maybe top 100, I think he's worth stashing. I've got him stashed in industry pickup and in a couple of other spots as well. I think Amen is the better of the two players, but we know what Ausar can do. We saw last year what kind of a player he is during that weird first month? Was it a month? Maybe it wasn't quite a month.
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks, I think. Yeah, close enough.
3 weeks where he was a top 30, top 40 player. So good rebounder, some defensive stats, won't score a lot. Percentages, especially free throws, can be a bit of an issue. So he's very, I don't know, he's almost a specialist kind of guy. But I think he'll have value once he hits 25 minutes a game.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that. I think specialist is more correct, and it will be sort of a bit all over the place. I don't think he's quite as good as Amen, and the shooting concerns are a little bit harder to fit around in Detroit. We'll see. It is going to be an interesting one to see how they do it. Air Dunks has a question though about Royce O'Neal. Says, are we back on the Royce O'Neal bandwagon for category leagues? And my easy answer to that, King, is just no, we're not, because the Suns don't play again this week. And by the time we see the Suns play again next week, Bradley Beal is probably back and Kevin Durant might be back. So it would have been great if old mate Royce O'Neal was able to do this at the start of these injuries, but he had every opportunity to hit 2 shots combined in 7 games. So unless you've got a differing opinion, like we're not adding Royce O'Neal, are we?
We are not.
There's just no need for it. Like they don't play. And also remember that if you're considering a Kaysen Wallace or Alex Caruso or Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe or deeper leagues AJ Mitchell, the Thunder are done as well. They don't play this week, and those guys are not good enough to hold on through all of this stuff. Josue Perez, I'll answer that question if you don't type it in caps. So you can come back with that one. Is the injury to Walker Kessler serious? People ask these sort of questions all the time, King. I'm sure you're aware. And the answer is, look, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. They haven't told us anything further on it. It's been a week with hip bursitis. It can be an ongoing problem. So what are you doing around this situation with Walker Kess? I'm not, I would say pretty obviously you're not dropping him, but in terms of how are you feeling about like a Kyle Filipowski? What are you doing with John Collins? I saw someone in the chat said that as soon as they saw Hartenstein was active, that they were able to trade John Collins and get him, which is one of the biggest W's I've ever seen. What are you doing around this Kessler situation?
Bursitis is tricky. I have a bursitis in my shoulder, and they linger around. Unless surgery, but there's been no word that he's getting it medically fixed or anything like that. So it's sort of a pain thing. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm holding him, not dropping him. And in terms of what I'm doing with replacements, I don't know. Filipowski's been pretty up and down. He's not someone I'm really interested in. Despite the fact he's playing good minutes. But yeah, John Collins is the obvious beneficiary, and if you can move him for a top 50 player, I'd absolutely do it. But yeah, I'm just waiting on Kessler. I'm assuming this isn't going to be months. I'm assuming it might, maybe it's another few games. I guess there might come a point, but as you said, we have no update on this at all.
Yeah, look, I think that if it was a long-term thing, you'd have it updated. So that's why I'm a little bit more, optimistic about it. Interesting question here from old mate Tivon Sadowski, which we will get to in just a second. So just bring it up on the screen. But it brings up an interesting point, and I think it's a larger thing. I don't think we're going to talk about this guy a huge amount as we move forward, because I think a lot of it is settled. But we're talking about Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. He says, is Hartenstein to sell high with Chet out, or do we hold and roll with the good times because he'll hold value when Chet does return? We at the early part of the draft season, Kingy, we were very interested in drafting Hartenstein. We thought they'd play a little bit together, but even in 25, 26 minutes, he's a top 80 sort of a guy, Hartenstein. And we were okay with that, right? And then we heard the hand injury news and blah, 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 and now he's out. I think, yeah, sell high. Okay, sure. But when's Chet coming back? Like, this is the thing. People think that Chet's coming back around the corner. Yeah, unless the corner is 4 months away, he's not coming back around the corner. So if you're selling high now, I put this to you, Kingy. Is there a chance that Chet Holmgren does not play a game before fantasy playoffs are over?
I think there's a chance.
Okay,
or at least until the playoffs.
That's all I need then. Like that's all we need. Like if there is a chance that he does not play until the fantasy playoffs start, that's so far away. Then there's no point selling high right now, and unless you're getting. Like, who are you getting back? Nikola Jokic? Like, just you roll with it. Because then when he comes back, like, Chet's not rolling into 33 minutes a night. It's like this selling high and doing it for that short-term pain sort of scenario is okay. But Chet's not back at Christmas. He's not back in 3 weeks. You're talking February, maybe the start of March. Like, it is so far away. So, no. We don't need to do that. I don't think. I haven't actually seen a question about this, which is really, really... really interesting. I thought we would have seen a question about the Luka Doncic injury news. I'm just scrolling so I can see one, so I can find an easy way to talk about it. But maybe if you guys have got questions about Luka, you can throw them into the chat now while I just go ahead and we'll come back. And there's going to be Luka chat, don't worry. We'll come back at it, but I'll tell you now that this episode is brought to you by Chime. Yes, Chime. There is a point in everyone's lives where you need to take money a little bit more serious. You need to take control of your own finances, and that's where Chime can come in. Chime is a program where there are millions of Chime members who can help you work on that financial progress. It helps you make that progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200, and your next deposit then gets applied onto your balance. You get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals, and there's no monthly fees or maintenance fees and over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. What you do is you set up a direct deposit in your Chime account after qualifying direct deposit of $200 plus. Chime will notify you to enroll in Spot Me. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 when you exceed your balance. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance, and Chime never charges fees or interest for using Spot Me. So make your fall finances a little greener by working towards your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That is chime.com/NBA. Chime, it feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp NA or Stride Bank NA members. FDIC, SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. As I try to find this, where am I? I'll get there in a second. Why is my... this is not great as we're going live. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Thought I had this prepared, but I guess not. No, we're good now. We're good. Today's episode is also brought to you by the Game Time app. Game Time Picks. It is the new thing they bring there, so you get your tickets easier. They cut out the fluff. They show you the good tickets only. You know how that works. Why would you want to waste time and money sifting through millions of tickets? It's all there for you with Game Time Picks. Throw in the views from your seat. Throw in the event cancellation protection, the lowest price guarantee, the all-in pricing, which you can toggle in on the app so you know exactly what you're paying right up front. Game Time has everything you need to get the tickets to your favorite event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Go ahead and go to Locked On NBA. Yeah, Locked On NBA. Yeah, that's it. For $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account. Redeem the code LOCKEDON NBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. We're back. We're ready. We're here. Kingy, I don't know why your camera just keeps like dropping out on me, but that's okay. It's not your fault. You're not doing anything about it. It just keeps happening, but we're good. All right. Let's see. Did anyone throw a good Luka Doncic question in here? Aiden. All right. Is an easy one. What's going on with Luka? It's a straightforward question. We're there with it. Wrist injury. This is another one of those things, Kingy, that I like to talk about. The last game. Luka banged his wrist and they asked Jason Kidd. He said, he's fine. Like, it's a bit sore, but we're all good. And now it's like, he's out at least a week. Players, coaches, every time they get asked about an injury, especially post-game, it's a lie. Every time. It might not be a lie. They might believe it George Costanza style, but it is a lie. Do not listen to anything that they say. Oh, the player said he's fine. Cool, he's lying. Don't listen to it. A player got put back into a game. Cool. They're idiots. That's all lies. So Luka is out for the next week. So what are you doing? Are you doing anything? Who are you adding in your 10s and 12-team leagues?
So that was the first thing I saw this morning when I got up. There's a lot of usage here, a lot of minutes, all sorts of things to go around. But who are we adding? I don't know. I've just pulled up the box score. So Luka missed the game against the Thunder, earlier in the week, whenever it was, and Grimes, Jaden Hardy, Spencer Dinwiddie, they all sort of got a bit extra. So no real clarity there. I know Grimes had a good game when Irving missed a bit earlier in the season. I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's going to be spread across a few guys. I don't think there's a situation here where we go, okay, we need to go and add Quentin Grimes. He would be the one I'd probably prioritize. But as I said, Hardy and for whatever reason, Dinwiddie will get some minutes.
I think that's about right, Kingy, because we just don't know what they're going to do. Like, Grimes might start and play 28 minutes as your vision drops out again. He might not. There's just no way of really being able to predict that. The thing that I would say with it is that the guy that starts just has a little bit of a safer floor. So we expect that to be Grimes. I don't know that his production is going to be good necessarily. It probably isn't. But he's got the safer floor. Like, obviously, what you get is more opportunities for Irving, more opportunities for PJ Washington, maybe for Clay, but not necessarily. You can try Grimes, but I think it's going to be like, they've got a little bit of a run here from Hardy. Hardy in the past has done really well when both Kyrie and Luka are out, not necessarily when one of them's out. So I'd be cautious there. And just look, if the guy's starting, that's usually just a better way to look at it, I think, in terms of who's going to be able to provide at least a floor value. I don't think you're going to have a great amount of success necessarily, and I don't really see that there's another sort of way around that. Here's a good one, Kingy. Emmanuel Quickly, right? We know that it's been an annoying situation very clearly. He is dealing now with this UCL injury. Rakshay Nan says, Quickly is available on my waivers. Is he a stash? Well, don't worry about him being on waivers because there will be some people who drop him. How do you view a situation like this? We don't really, he's had injury in preseason, pelvis injury game 1, now an elbow injury, nothing related, just all a bunch of bad luck. But how do you view this? We might be 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away from quickly returning. Is like, ignore the add off waivers, because to me that's an obvious yes. But like, it might not be for some. Is he like, how long do you stash a player like this? Like, would you have like a cutoff of what sort of player we're talking about?
Yeah, I think we stash him. Was there an update yesterday that it's maybe mid-December?
Yeah.
Did I read that somewhere? Yeah. So yeah, as you said, that's what 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. Yeah, it's been a lot of bad luck. I'm stashing him. I think he still got sort of top 60, top 50 upside. I would understand people's caution though, or hesitation, because we haven't seen him put up numbers like that for a sustained period. He did it for a little bit down the stretch, and then we just assumed he was going to come in and play this big role, but he's basically missed the whole season now. So I'm holding him if you've got IR capability, but if you don't have capability to put him in your IR spot for whatever reason, you should have, then it's going to be tough with him out for 3 to 4 weeks. That's going to put him out for, what are we in, week 5? So almost half of the season, the fantasy regular season, he would have missed. So it's a tough one, but I still think the upside is there to warrant holding.
Yeah, now people can see that I already put the next question up. It's from DJ Trump. I'm sure it's not the actual big fella, but John Kuminga, is he a hold? This is as obvious as it gets to me, Kingy.
Sadly, no.
Get that garbage out of here.
Yeah, like, this is the thing, and I'm sure you probably would have got those sort of questions even yesterday. Hey, D'Anthony Melton's out for the season. Who do we add? Like, the same player that you added like when he was out a week ago, because literally nothing changed. Then we saw it yesterday, and literally nothing changed. The only thing that I think it did is that announcement of out for the season on Melton is that if you were in a deep sort of format, that if you were looking at Lindy Waters, well, you go, well, okay, well, this guy's now going to get 20 minutes the rest of the season. Like, that's all it does. But that doesn't matter for most of us. And Kuminga's playing 19 minutes a night. I'll put it to you this way then, because I think it is unbelievably obvious that you just can't hold him. We are 5 weeks in. The man's had like 2 good games. Kerr doesn't like him. And I'm not even saying whether that's right or wrong. I think it's right. I think Kuminga is unbelievably overrated. He is like ridiculously overrated in my mindset. And yeah, oh man, look at Kerr. He's ruining him. Yeah, as the Warriors cruise to like a top 2 seed in the Western Conference. Yeah, and yeah, it's been really bad for them to do that. Yeah, I just think that there's this, I don't know what it is about Kuminga that people sort of flock to in that situation, but yeah, there's no reason for me to be looking to hold him. But I'll transition this question to you then. So Steph, yes, we're rostering in 12-team leagues. Draymond Green, yes. Mm-hmm. And then what? Like, who else are you bothering with in a standard format on the Warriors?
Yeah, I mean, I put something up on Twitter, I think, the other night about who are we rostering, who do I think's must roster. Yeah, I think it's Curry. I think it's Green. I still think Hield is probably a must hold.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know about that. Like,
yeah.
We saw him shoot 1,000,000% for about 3 games, right? And then his minutes sort of went up, and now he's like a 21-minute-a-night player who's shooting as normalized, who does absolutely jack shit apart from points and threes. And like when he played 21 minutes last night and 22 the game before, like he'll be okay. But like to me, he's not. I'm trying to think of like a good mid-round player, like points and threes. That's Michael Porter, right? For example, who does that sort of thing in the middle rounds. He's not that. Like he's Tim Hardaway, he's Malik Beasley, he's Gary Trent, he's AJ Green. He's one of the other million 3-point stream guys that you can find that become available. Like he's not Tyler Hero. Like he's not that sort of a player as a real points and three. He's not that. Like he's just because if your floor is 20 minutes a night, why am I holding through everything? Because the good games aren't that good. He's not going to come out and give you a 25, 7 and 6 with 2 steals. Like he's never going to do that. His good game will be 24 points on 70% shooting with 5 threes and 1 rebound. So I don't have a problem if you want to roster him, but I don't see the need. I would have Wiggins over him, honestly, as a 12-team guy, and then like absolutely no interest in Podziemski, none in Kuminga. Jackson Davis, I need to see more consistency with minutes. Like yesterday was good, but he doesn't do that enough, does he?
No, yesterday was better, but as you said, he's very up and down. Minutes are up and down. Wiggins would be the other one for me. He's almost doing what I hoped or what I thought Kuminga might do, and sort of step up as that secondary scoring option consistently. And Wiggins he's put together a decent season.
He's had some shooting struggles early on, but otherwise he's been like I would say what you would have hoped in, at least recently anyway. Another question here, and I mainly bring this up for the last part of it. David says, any Galaxy brain luxury stashes at this point, milk Jerome. I don't think Ty Jerome is anything close to a luxury stash. Like that is to me, and that's why I bring this up, King, is to talk about what these terms actually mean. Because what is the purpose of Ty Jerome as a stash? Then that is hoping for an injury, right? And that sort of stuff is completely random. I get it, right? Like he's played really well. Is he still shooting like 70% from three? It's close to that, which of course, no matter how good you are, you won't continue to do that. But there's no path here. There's no trade coming. There's no shutdown coming. There's no guy that's probably going to get benched or a rookie moving into a larger role. To me, this is just, and you could pick probably 17 guys like this across the NBA that you go, well, if the guy in front of him gets hurt, maybe I'll hold. And maybe that's what you mean by luxury stash. But if I talk about it, that's not what I mean.
No, for me, luxury stash is someone on a team that is going to shut guys down at the end of the year or lean more into a tank if they're not already. It's not a guy that has been playing well, but you would need one or two injuries for him to step into a larger role. And the Cavs have been amazing, so they're not tanking, they're not shutting down anything like that.
Jerome's shooting 55% from three and 62% from two this season, so he's doing that. And like the numbers are fine, like 12 points, 3.6 assists, 1 steal, but it's just got no hope. Like it's just not going to happen, and that's just not how that I or you view what a luxury stash means, because it's just waiting for an injury. It's just, I'd like to be able to see a scenario where I go, oh yeah, this has probably got a likelihood of happening versus throw shit up in the air and see how it ends up. But anyway, he's been good. No one could have expected him to be this good, and no one should expect him to continue to be this good as we move forward. We've got more questions to come back to in a sec. But today's episode is brought to you by Robin Hood. With Robin Hood Gold, you do not need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. See that? Eating and spoons all together. Robin Hood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual can get the rates and perks of those, those rates and perks with Robin Hood Gold and earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Okay. Let's find... All right, Arnaldo LeBron. What are your thoughts on Scoot Henderson? I hate a thoughts question, but I'm going to just manipulate your words, Arnaldo. Scoot got hurt yesterday, Kingy. Hurt his quad, didn't return to the game. Simons is probably back the next game. Are you jacking off Scoot Henderson?
I wasn't really holding him anyway.
There you go.
We're talking of stashes. He would be someone who might be a stash.
True. That is true.
He is someone who they might just go, to hell with it, we're going to roll you out as much as possible, because he has not been very good. And so, I wasn't really holding him anyway. So in a standard league, I think you're okay to move on based on this.
Shout out to the guy that said that this mailbag is hopeless because there's too many people asking questions. Sorry, mate. Can't really help you with that. Is J-Dub a sell high?
Ooh, I talked about him yesterday. He's been very good. The return of Hartenstein, I think, will impact him a little bit, not a lot, and because I think he's a first rounder. Is something in this thus far. I would only move him if I'm getting. I think I said yesterday if I'm getting a top 15 player back, top 20 maybe, but anything below that, I'd just hold him.
I would too. Like. Who are you getting back that's better? Shea? Okay, let me put it this way to you, King. Would you trade him for an injured Luka Doncic? Remembering, Luka has a 2-game playoff week as well.
He does. I'd have to be really comfortable in the standings and pretty clear at the top. I don't know. I'd probably just hold Jalen Williams, I think. It's close.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think I would take Luka, but yeah, I avoided Luka because I didn't want a 2-game playoff week. So by that logic, I don't know that I would. It is also all of this always. Yeah, you go back and you got to just have a look like what is actually happening with Jalen Williams that can't continue, and I'm not sure sort of what there is. Like we thought that he would step up, and we thought maybe there was a shot at being a second-round player. But I don't think anyone thought we'd get what we're getting at the moment with him. And if we go and look at the overall numbers from him, I'm not sure like what isn't sticking. Is it 22 points? Cool. 2 threes, no worries. 6.5 rebounds, 5 assists. Maybe it's the 2.2 steals, the 1 block, 52 and 82, but maybe not. Like, why can't that stuff hold? I think it probably can. Like that's the thing where it's like, okay, I don't really know how that changes, which is so like. It's so interesting of how like good he has been. We thought there'd be some steps forward, but I didn't say this.
No, and I do think, like no Hartenstein, no Chet has helped him defensive numbers a little bit, but that's more blocks than steals. Like he is a really good defender. We know he is. Yep. So, I'm not too worried. Maybe the blocks come down very slightly, but everything else, I think it's somewhat sustainable.
Ada Atak says, can Isaiah Collier be an ad for the long term? Isaiah Collier, backup point guard in Utah, and Keontae George has been bad nearly every game. But I will also put this out there. If you're worried about Keontae George and how bad he's killing your field goals, probably don't want to look at what this guy's going to do because I think it might be worse. He is a much better passer. He is more of a traditional point guard. He's been generating some steal numbers. Look, this also would move into hey, what about a luxury stash? And what do they do? Well, maybe they see if Collier and George can work together, and maybe they transition George to be more of a 2 and Collier is their 1 of the future. That's possible. But he has the similar limitations of George with the other thing holding him back that he's not starting and he's not getting those minutes. So I do like him, but yeah, I wouldn't say he's got a perfect game at this point, Kingy.
No, he's... I think, as you said, I think there is a chance that they experiment a bit at some point. Whether they look to move Sexton, I don't know, or whether they just bring Sexton off the bench and like you said, start Keontae at the 2.
Sexton could get injured, he could get traded. There's so many things that can happen there.
He could, yeah. But as you said, both are going to kill your field goal percentage. Keontae George just hasn't taken any steps forward for me.
And Collier is also a bad free throw guy too, so he's got that just to add on to the little nonsense that goes with it. I had a really interesting one here, King, that I wanted to chuck in from 17 places 45. He says, never sell high on a guy who isn't going to change role. I fundamentally disagree on that, Kingy. What do you think about that comment?
I've got to think about it in my head. Never sell high on a guy that isn't going to change role. So a guy that is just in the same role.
I'm guessing this is related to the Jalen Williams question. And you're right, Jalen Williams' role isn't going to change. And I don't know that he's a seller because I just went through all those numbers and they're relatively sustainable. But the thing you always want to look at, the first thing you want to look at if you're considering buy lows and sell highs is what is happening with either defensive stats or shooting percentages. If someone's coming in, Ty Jerome style, shooting 60% from 3, it doesn't matter if their role is going to stay the same. They could drop 30 percentage points, which might mean they lose 1.5 threes a game, which might mean they lose their edge in field goal percentage, their edge in scoring, and their edge in three-pointers made. And then that value is dropped by 50 spots, and then the sell high is over. It's not sometimes it's about role, right? Like Williams is not losing his role, but the stuff that he's doing is not really super unsustainable. I don't look at his shooting numbers and go, man, yeah, what he's doing here is like outrageous. He's at 39% from 3 and 57% from 2. Like, yeah, sure. Why doesn't he keep doing that? He probably will. Like, there's nothing that really is going to change it. 2.2 steals, yeah, that's within the realms of possibility. A block, maybe that comes down. Maybe. But, yeah, when he moves away from playing as much center. But if you get someone who comes in and then, like, I think Josh Hart's a good example, who's shooting like 50% from 3 and 78% from 2 or something. Okay, the role's not changing with him, but Josh Hart is not like this unbelievable finisher / shooter, so that is going to fall off. And that, I think, is the thing to look at versus paying attention more to like whether the role is secure. That is the thing, but the other part of it is key as well.
Yeah, I just pulled up Buddy Hield's numbers. He came to mind when you were talking about this, and he was flying, as you said, to start the season. He was shooting the best shooter in the world, but his role hasn't changed. He was just hot, so they gave him a few more minutes. But
exactly,
he's in exactly the same role he was opening night. And you absolutely should have tried to sell high about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, because there are people that believe. The people that just so super believe, oh, Buddy, he's going to be this top 70 guy. Look at how he's going. Yeah, he's the top 10 player on Hoops Hype's global rating. He's going to put up so many these huge numbers. Let's go for it. But apparently not. All right, here's a question. There's not really a question, it's a statement, but I think it's an interesting thing to talk about, Kingy. Angela Bryant says that she picked up Mr. Black. What do you make of Anthony Black? Last 2 games have been really good. Again, I will always want to say go look at a game log. 2 games before, he had 4 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, which is very clearly terrible. I think he had 6 points the game before, but 2 games in a row, Anthony Black has looked great. Have you added him? And will you add him? And how do you view this? Is there a chance that Anthony Black could start over either KCP or cut into Jalen Suggs' minutes? And do you believe this little run that he's on is worthy of a pickup?
Have I added him? I picked him up in a 16-team league, looking for assists, and I got 8 of them yesterday, so I was pretty happy with that. Free throws were a bit of a kick in the nuts, but that's all right. Do I think? Well, look, I mean, we saw this from him. A few weeks ago, and we were sort of saying, okay, I think we need to add him here, and then he did nothing for a week or two. Does he take minutes away from KCP? Well, KCP hasn't been great. Suggs was really good, then he cooled off. Do we believe it? I don't know. I mean, I think he's certainly improved a lot compared to last season. He's probably one of the more improved players. And as I said, 16-team league, I picked him up. I actually thought he injured his knee yesterday. It looked like he did at the end of the game, but he's not on the injury report as far as I can see. So I'm assuming he plays today. So we'll get another good look at what his role is going to be. But I mean, yeah, I don't mind him as a pickup, but I'm certainly not preaching him as a long-term ad at this point.
I'm going to do 2 more questions here, Kingy. And this one here is one that I do want to get to because it brings up a lot of interesting points, I think. Shanko Mimadovsky, if that is your real name, it probably is. He says, what can I get for Haliburton? Right. Okay, and that brings a couple of parts to it, and I want to use that to sort of dive into some other areas. What can you get from him? I have no idea. Absolute no idea, because I'm not in your league, so that's a question that you ask other people. But also, Kingy, why would you trade him now? The frustration level with Haliburton is through the roof if you've got him. As you're well aware, Shenko, because you're like, I'm done, I need to get rid of this guy. You need to fight the urge. The demon on your shoulder is telling you, this guy, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him. The only reason you would think that is if you think he's got a significant injury that's going to end the season or keep him out for months, which honestly is not far-fetched. He's got this back problem. But trading him away now, as you're well aware, because your frustration has obviously hit boiling point, it's right there, is that it almost can't be worse what his value is at the moment. So the other person trades going to go, hey, what can I give you? Here's Josh Hart. Here is here's Terry Rozier plus someone else garbage. What can you get at the moment? Probably nothing. From somebody's going to try and scam you into a trade of getting him. So I know, and I talked about this at length on the show yesterday. Always with these things, King, I ask myself a question. I look at the numbers. I go, do I believe that Tyrese Halliburton's a 28% shooter from 3 and 38% from the field overall? And if I look at it and go, absolutely not, no way, then okay, I'm feeling okay about him getting better. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, what do you like? Or are you one of those ones if I can just get a 3rd round back, I'll be happy?
No, I mean, for someone you've invested a 1st round pick in, I'm willing to give him more time than this. And yeah, this back injury, which, I mean, I don't think he's actually been listed with a back injury.
He's not at all.
No. So,
but don't get it wrong. He's got one. He has a heating pack on his back the whole time. He had this problem all through the Olympics. He's had this for a while. I don't know where it came from, whether it was related to the hamstring, whether he's still recovering from parts of that. I don't know. He has a back injury. There is no doubt about that. It's obviously not stopping him playing. He's playing 35 minutes a night, but they're not listing him there. And again, because all NBA players are soft and all they're doing is playing for the money. So, yeah, that's all he's doing. And this is the thing that frustrates me, side note, is people go, man, why doesn't he just rest out some games then and get himself right? Because every dickhead in the world would jump on him, he just got his contract now, who cares? He doesn't even want to play, just a sore back. Oh, I've had a bruised back and I'm out there chucking concrete around. Like, no one can win in these situations. You play with an injury, you suck, you're the worst in the world. You take time off to rest, that you're so soft and all you're doing is dealing with a paper cut and you can't play. So, yeah, that's why he's playing because, yeah, shocker, NBA players like playing basketball. Who knew?
Yeah,
and
they do.
Yeah, so look, I don't know how good he's going to be. And like I said this on my show yesterday, Kingy, is that like if Haliburton doesn't bounce back and ends up a 40% shooter, I'll cop that. Like I'll be like, you know what, I got it wrong. I thought he'd bounce back because I'm looking at 150 games of past data, and it's really irresponsible for me to come out and say, yep, he's a 38% shooter and he's actually terrible now. Because what are the odds of that? They're not there. I think that's as simple as that is.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations, as you said, where percentages, you look at those percentages, and if they increase, everything increases. Points go up, threes go up, confidence goes up.
Yep.
You have to also
Assists
remember his assists are at, 8.5, which is still really good, but not at the sort of that double-digit level. But part of that is on the rest of his team as well. Like an assist can only be accumulated when your teammates are making shots. So I think this is a situation where hopefully he gets through whatever this injury is, and confidence is going to be a big thing, and he'll just start taking more shots and hitting more shots, and we'll get the old Tyrese Halliburton back.
And the more that his balls swell and get bigger and he's taking shots and they're going in, the more people will be playing up aggressively on him, which opens up more opportunities for assists. And then he becomes that orchestrator again versus the guy that's like just struggling so much, and everyone knows that he is struggling. Last question, mainly because I like this guy's username. He says, Josh Lloyd is my GOAT, which is clearly not true. You should have a better GOAT than me. What do you say about Alex rest of season? Is he a must-hold? It has been a rough week, Kingy, for Alex
It has. I still think he is because, and this is, I mean, you could almost say this is a stash, although he is doing things now, so he's not someone that's doing nothing and you have to stash him. But I think Valanciunas has to be moved at some point. So I think there's scope for him to play a little bit more. He's only playing, 25 minutes at the moment. The blocks are there. The rebounds have been okay. Efficiency has been down, which we knew it would be. But I think this is what we're getting from him now is his floor, and there's scope for him to improve as we move through the season. So I would be holding if possible.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I would try and hold as much as I can. I don't even think Valanciunas is impacting him necessarily. He's playing like 18 minutes a night, right? I don't think there's a huge thing. There's just him being bad at the moment, which happens a lot with rookies. I like to give rookies through Thanksgiving into December to see sort of where they sit. He's had enough moments where I go, yeah, I'm happy with holding him onto this. Just quickly, if you've got like 2 minutes, I see a lot of people talk about, man, I need to go grab Valanciunas because he's going to get traded to the Lakers and his numbers are all going to go up. Like, okay. Are they going to play AD and Valanciunas together, are they? Bring old mate Dalton Connect off the bench and LeBron moves back. People have this opinion of that Valanciunas is an awesome player. Like, he's not. Like, there's a reason he's signed for $11 million a year to be a backup for the Wizards, is because he's a backup center. So, yeah, just always be cautious of that idea as well. Kingy, that is a mailbag show. Apologies to that guy for not answering 95% of the questions like he wanted, but we are here to answer as best we can and cover the major topics across fantasy basketball. Kingy, tell us what you've got cooking in the old... hang on. I haven't even addressed this. Where are the plants?
The plants are over to my left now. We've swung things around.
Poison ivy moved out.
It's still there. It's still very long and still dominating the room.
That's what she said.
That is what she said. No, just on a different angle now. We like to move things around here. We like to change it up.
All right, so Kingy is going to go back to his gardening, and what other stuff is happening at the moment?
Lots of gardening and lots of fantasy basketball, daily show, stuff on Twitter. Blue Sky is a thing, maybe. So we're sort of over there just dabbling. But it seems to be getting busier. So we'll see if it takes off. But no, I'm just doing my daily show and some weekly stuff with Dan Vespris. as well, and jumping on here whenever you'll have me.
Screw that guy, Dan. Absolute loser. I don't know why you bother even talking. I'm trying to create like a WWE beef with Dan, and I think he's gonna come on next week. But yeah, screw that guy. Massive wanker. Don't even talk about him on the show. Kingy, thank you again. Been great having you on, answering these questions. You can go and rest your voice after a big night of coaching, and we'll get out of here. Kingy, it was great to have him on, and it's great to have you guys here for the live show. Don't forget, you know where to find me, you know where to double bang and all that. And remember, again, go and do something good today. I'm sure you've already done something good. Go do something good. Make it good. Make yourself proud. Have a good day. And guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.